Welcome to the Next Level podcast. This show is for leaders, builders, and bold thinkers who know they're meant for more and are finally ready to stop waiting and start moving. The Next Level Lab is where confidence meets clarity, where identity turns into action, and where bold decisions create real momentum. Here we'll talk about leadership, growth, energy, mindset, and what it actually takes to build a life and a business that feel aligned, powerful, and totally yours. You'll hear real conversations, real stories, real strategies. No fluff, no playing small, and no waiting until you feel ready. This podcast is your permission to lead louder, move faster, and own your next level. I'm your host, Callie Wiley. Let's freaking go. Welcome back to another episode of the Next Level Lab podcast. Thanks for being here, y'all. I pre-recorded a ton of stuff, so I've not talked about my East Coast trip. If you follow me on Instagram, you heard my 6-minute algo hating, the post that the algorithm would never love because it was over 3 minutes. But I want to dive in a little bit further to the trip that I just did to the East Coast, why I went, how I went, what I did, because y'all thought I was insane. And some of the text messages that I got leading up to this trip were crazy. The number of people that were like, I don't know, this seems really sketchy. I don't think you should do this. Insane. And there's a lot of life lesson in this process and why I chose to do this and why I live my life the way that I do. And I think we need to talk about it because I think some of you wanted me to fail, which is crazy. We love watching people fail, right? And we don't want to watch people succeed. And when people start posting on social media and they're posting their successes and their wins and the things that they're doing, people get jealous. And that's crazy because that's all social media is, right? It's this space for people to celebrate their wins, celebrate their accomplishments, celebrate what they love, what they're doing, who they hang out with, and let it be that, right? And somewhere along the line, we've gotten lost, and instead of celebrating people get jealous. And I think that there were people out there that really wanted this to be a flop. And I had people after the fact that said like, oh my gosh, I thought this was either going to be a great core memory for you or this was going to be like this most scary thing you've ever done. And for those of you that don't know, I just did a week back east. I flew into Baltimore. I did Annapolis, Baltimore, Philly area, Asbury Park, New Jersey, came back, flew back out of Philly, whole little thing. I have a friend named Shane that is in a band called Turn 2, and I'd been deeply kind of invested in their process, helped with their website, done some social media stuff for them, worked along the way as they've kind of grown. And so they did a tour, mini tour, 3-day run, and I was going to see this process through, right? When you get invested in people's success, you want to watch the process all the way through. So I booked this trip to go back east, sell merch, hang out, see them play live. And people thought it was crazy because I knew Shane through TikTok. We have a lot of mutual friends from the music industry. He was in a band previously when I owned a music venue. So a lot of mutual overlap there, but didn't know anyone else. I didn't know the rest of the band. I didn't know anyone else. I didn't know any of their friends. I didn't know anyone. And that seems crazy to a lot of people. But y'all, when I look at it, I'm like, well, we are also going on book tour, right? In October, November, we just announced that. If you missed that announcement last week, so it'll be a week and a half after this is posted, we posted book tour. And we will be on the road for October and November, different cities, talking about the book, really a movement portion of things. But it's no different. Like I'm going with people I do know, but our whole point is how do we talk to people we don't know, right? Yes, I want the support of people that I know and that I love at every single stop. That's really important to me. That's why this has been able to happen, is the people in our worlds that have helped us move this forward. But part of this too is how do we get in front of strangers? How do we connect with complete strangers? How do we talk to people that maybe have never heard this concept before? How do we get in front of people at skate parks to talk about the permission and that you can launch a business and you can be creatively successful and you don't have to follow this certain path and you don't have to go to college to be successful and you can be you, right? And that's going to be a lot of stranger interaction, which there's a lot of power in. And somewhere along the line, we were told not to interact with strangers, but y'all have been interacting with strangers on the internet for years. For years. I recently reconnected with a buddy of mine. His name's John Davis out of Bend, Oregon. And we're kind of laughing, like, how did we ever even meet? And we met on MySpace, you guys. I've been meeting strangers on the internet. I ended up living in Bend. We were friends in Bend, whatever. But point is, I've been meeting people on the internet for years. And for me, there's so much power in connecting with people because you can find like-minded people through the algorithm. And your algorithm's going to do a really good job connecting you with people that are like-minded. So lean into that. Lean into that. But for me, taking this trip is so much more than just taking this trip, right? I freaking loved getting to sell merch. Y'all know that that's back down to my roots. If you've been around since I was 16, the music industry is my roots. It's really what makes me happy. I love watching bands succeed. I love watching people thrive in things that make them happy. And I went in knowing one person, not in person. And I left with literally 50 friends. And I've been talking a lot on this platform about networking, and I'm getting really burned out from people's elevator pitches and just being whatever, right? I'm getting very burned out from it because it's super fucking fake. And going back east with zero business intention, it was hey, I support people and I love people's dreams and I love being able to do this. I connected with people differently. And you guys know that I've been on this rant that I don't give a fuck about your elevator pitch. I want to know people first. And the people that I got to connect with, the different bands that were on tour, first of all, shout out to everyone in Turn 2 for being amazing fucking humans. Shout out to Nicole, Mike's wife, for being my long lost best friend. The other two bands, Midfield and Free Friends, absolutely loved and adored. Lauren was another one of those people from Free Friends, instantly clicked. I was like, oh my gosh, we've been best friends forever, right? And everyone else on that tour, just absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. People at the venues, the promoters, everyone along the way. And I talk so much about this building of connection. And y'all, the people that I connected with were so different because we were all out there for one purpose. And that was music. And that was creating dreams. And that was being in this purpose. And the connections that I made out there were so much more genuine than anyone that I've met recently. Anyone that I've met recently in networking groups, because it was this genuine, I just want to meet people, right? I never felt unsafe. I always felt like I was in a community, people cared. I really genuinely feel like I made lifelong friends out there. And if you can just get out of your own way and say yes to going to the shows, right? Say yes to the concert, say yes to going alone, because y'all, I did this trip alone and everyone's always waiting for, well, I'll go with if so-and-so wants to go, right? I'll go if my friends want to go. Why? Being out there alone put me in the situation that I got the opportunity to make friends, right? If you do these trips with people you already know, it's amazing, right? And I know we're going on book tour with people we already know, but I didn't even know Roman, Kennedy, or Melinda this time last year, which is insane. Didn't even know them. I didn't know Kennedy until December of last year. I met Roman October, November-ish, also through social media. Melinda, I met last August, September-ish. Didn't even know them last summer. And when you start putting yourself into spaces to authentically meet people and genuinely connect with people and say yes to meeting new friends and say yes to just introducing yourself and say yes to going to the show and the concert and the space and the city and the new environment, that is where our confidence starts to build. And with this is where we start to curate a life of our dreams, because there's a few other projects in the line that I'm working on right now. I know you're shocked. We're still trying to get this book across the finish line. We'll be on tour, but there's some other things in the pipeline. And these are dreams I've had for years. These are visions I've had for decades. These are things that I've always said I will achieve these things and never knew how I was going to do it. And because of some of the connections I've made in the last year, because I said yes to being friends with someone on the internet, because I said yes to taking trips by myself, because I went to shows by myself, because I put myself out there to find like-minded creatives, insane visions are coming to life. You know that I've talked about the book over and over and over and over again. And the book would have never come to fruition without people that said, I believe in your dream too. And it was a big ask, you guys. I came out and I said, I want to write this book. I don't know how to write well. I need a ghostwriter. I want to go on tour. I want to do a documentary with this because this is not about signing books. This is about making impact. This is about how can we have conversations? How can we change lives? How can we encourage people to get out of their own way? How can we give people permission to chase bigger dreams? How can we give people permission to do what we're doing? Because y'all have asked, how the hell? The number of text messages I've gotten, phone calls, got a FaceTime last week from someone that was like, how in the hell how in the hell are you doing this? How the hell did you get this book published? How in the fuck did you get this tour booked? And y'all, the simple answer is we just started doing it. Because the reality is you don't need a publisher. You don't need someone to send you on tour. You don't need XYZ. You just have to know the right people to help you get there. And that's what we've curated. That's what we've curated, is we know the right people. And when we started booking this tour, you guys, I probably got 150 no's to venues, 150 no's. I could pull up my email. I could list out all these venues that said no. Bookstores hated us. Bookstores hated us because we were giving Kennedy credit as a ghostwriter, and that's apparently not good, but I love it, so we're going to do it. And we could have said, never mind. But we knew the right people that were willing to help us. We knew the right connections that were willing to help us. We started putting ourselves out there on social media. We started reaching out. I started connecting with different people. And y'all, eventually someone knew someone knew someone. And it started to create this energy, right? And this is just from putting ourselves out there. And that's the whole point of all of this, right? If you put yourself out there, who can you meet? Who can you start connecting with? Will you meet more like-minded people? So much of this book is also about getting back to who I was, right? When I was 18, if you knew 16 to 22-year-old Callie, wild, free spirit, owned a music venue, started getting tattoos at 18, did whatever I wanted, had 57 jobs because I had internships. I dropped out of college because I was like, this is stupid. What's the point? I'm just going to go work all these internships, launch all these businesses, do all these things. Then I got lost in career identity. And I was like, okay, in order to be successful, I have to grow up, because this is what you do when you're a kid. And instead I took this career path where I decided to lock in. I locked in, I got real corporate girly. I could give you the pictures of the corporate life and the dream. And I thought that that would fulfill me. I thought that having that would fulfill me, because that's what you're told. You're told that when you do all the steps, then you'll be fulfilled, right? You graduate high school with good grades. You go to college. You are on the dean's list. You graduate. You get married. You have a career. You stay at that career forever, and you'll be fulfilled. And y'all, that's not how I operate. It's not how I operate. It's not where I find my fulfillment. And for the first time in years, I started saying yes to things that 18 to 20-year-old Callie would have said yes to. I started saying yes again to the music industry. I started saying yes again to creatives that were like me. I started saying yes to the creative things that I loved. You guys, I hung out in like skate parks. And then at 22, I was like, I can't do that anymore. That's for kids. I don't know. Insane. And every single thing that I'm saying yes to and leaning into and creating a life for is for the version of me that's always existed and that I've been afraid to be comfortable with, because I thought that it would mean I wasn't growing up. And now I'm dressing for myself. I'm leaning into what makes me happy. I'm traveling a ton. Solo travel really fills my cup. You guys, doing all the things. So here's what I would encourage you to do is you have to start trusting yourself to take chances. You have to start putting yourself in the rooms you want to be in. If none of your friends want to go to the show, none of your friends want to do the thing, none of them want to go to the sports game, none of them want to do XYZ, go alone. Go do the thing alone, because you're going to slowly find the people that mesh with you. You're going to slowly find the people that truly align with you. And at the end of the day, this is alignment, right? We don't need people that don't align with us. We need a whole room of people that align with us to step into what we were really meant to do. So go take chances today. Go book the flight, take the trip, do the thing, put yourself out there and make connections with people that align with you, and watch things change for you. Do the scary thing. Do the scary thing. It's going to build your confidence. It's going to build your ability to do things. It's going to build your ability to meet new people and be in the thing. That's how we start to change our life. Thanks for listening. That's my 13-minute soapbox for you that I think is really important and I think people need to hear. I appreciate all of you. Like, share, subscribe, do all the things. Also, reshare our tour graphic would be super helpful for us. That would be very, very helpful for us so that we can keep getting the word out across the country so that people do come hang out with us. We can have the conversations. We can do the meaningful thing. And otherwise, I will see you all out there. Have an amazing day.